Okay.
You ready? Yep.
Yep. On.
G'day kids. Yep.
No, yep.
Okay. Alright guys, now that we've sliced these carrots into planks, as you can see, because they've been squared off, and so that they don't roll and you won't cut yourself, what we'll try to do is we'll stack them all together, and if it's too high, just do them one at a time, don't rush, because it takes a bit of skill and a bit of practice to get this right. So we've got 3 planks now, and what we'll do, we'll make matchsticks, and this is what the French call a julienne. So what we have is matchstick cuts at the moment, and that's what they call a julienne. Matchstick cuts, and you've got to remember they stick to the knife as well, so make sure you look at the blade and brush down. Now from a matchstick, if we turn them all on the even side, and in this motion, this is the motion that knives go. It's sort of like a rocking motion. It's like a rocking chair, but it's sort of down with the heel and slide across, push forward, down with the heel, and that makes sure you get everything when you're cutting. Sometimes you might have a crooked board, so you might miss something, but this motion, it's a ecliptic motion, which is like an oval shape. Okay? Okay. Now what we're going to do now is turn this julienne, which is, if you go to chef school, this is one of the first things they ask you to do and you learn. And now we'll turn this into a dice. So when you hear the term brunoise, which is the French term for a dice, this is what they mean. So keep your thumbs, remember how I said, and just dice. And now you've got a nice fine dice. And remember, if it's too much for you, just, there we go. As that's a nice fine dice that you could put into a soup or a salad. So that's called a fine dice.
And action.
Okay, kids. This is an onion, and onions are used in a lot of cooking. It's a main ingredient in a lot of things, especially stocks. And I know that you're going to be making soups and stocks next. Okay. Now, a little tricky about, have you noticed that sometimes when you cut onions, the onion falls apart and everything like that? That's because someone's probably cut the root side. Now this is the root side. It's a little bit with the hairy little bits of hair hanging on, they're roots. Okay, we want to keep that side intact. It's alright to cut that side, which I call like sort of the little tag side. So the one that you can twist. So that side's alright to cut. So what we'll do is like hold it down, remember to keep your thumb back, and just slice that down. So now we've got a flat surface. Like, remember how we did the carrot earlier? So now that we've got it flat and it's not going to roll, we will cut right down the centre of that. Alright? So sometimes, if it's a big cut, it's alright to rest the hand at the front of the knife like this. Okay? Remember, just keep it on the spine and then just cut through. Just soft pressure. See how that went through? Because the knife is very sharp. Okay. This side. So what we do now, we'll peel back the skin. Okay, just peel it back and you'll see that the whole onion is still intact, and that's because the root is still there. So remember to never slice out that part.
Well, I've been doing that for 20 years, Barry, and now I just learned something. No wonder, there you go. Mine always falls apart. Now I know the secret.
Mine did too.
Okay. Now what we'll do, now this is the part that once you learn enough, we're going to cut this into a fine dice. You can do it through a mandolin, which makes it nice and thin. But this is the way you get shown when you go to TAFE and to learn cookery. Now I'm going to go a little bit quick, but this is when you get confident. Remember, my thumb is behind my fingers, and I'm just going to run the flat of the blade across my fingers like this, so I know that it's not going to cut me because my fingers are tucked in and my thumb's tucked in behind those fingers. Okay? So just run it across, yeah? Okay. And now that we've made all these fine cuts right across it, if you can see, okay. You can square off it, you can square off that, but we can always keep these off cuts for stock. It's always good. Always have a nice stock bucket on the side for all your trimmings and everything, and they'll make the soup taste a lot better. Okay, now that we've cut down vertically along the way like that, now we're going to run the knife horizontally across it, and just give it a little bit of a wiggle into the back of the root. And once again, so we go at the lower level, then we just move up maybe about 1 centimetre, and if you want finer, go half a centimetre, and then right at the top. Now this top part, just be a little bit careful, just tuck everything in. Okay. And this makes really fine onions for spaghetti bolognese. Okay, now fingers tucked in, and in that motion again where it's like tip, down, and just roll, just that nice oval motion. Now we're doing a really fine dice now with the onion. Just be careful, sometimes the top tends to fall a little bit, but that's alright. Now you've seen how the whole onion holds together, and you've basically got everything pretty much diced down, and if you want, just run your knife through it like that, just that support the front, and that will give you a nice, you can use it as a brush, so you can scoop everything together. So if you want it finer, go through it this way and then that way. And you'll have a really nice fine onion dice that in your cooking you won't even be able to see it.
Okay. Now, yep.
Alright, so we've done that fine dice, and that's really good for bolognese and meat sauces. Okay, now I'll show you a different style of cutting an onion, which you'll find when you go down to your local Chinese restaurant for a stir fry. Okay, so we'll peel this onion.
Get the root on again, Baz?
No, we can take the root off on this one.
Okay.
Because we want it to actually fall apart.
Alright.
Okay. Now, with the root off, then we just go across like this, and this is what. Once again. Now see, as I get close to the end and it's getting a bit wobbly, just flip it back down so you have the bigger surface that's flat, and then just. But once again, it's not a race, so take your time because this stuff takes practice. So now we have a cut onion, which is usually the style used in stir fry many Asian dishes.
Action.
Alright kids, remember, onions, very strong in smell, so that we, remember after we've cut meat, chicken, especially raw meat and chicken, either use a new board or wash this in very hot soapy water and wash your knives before you start again, dry the boards. So what we're going to do, we're just going to wash this because we're going to chop some parsley after this.
Yep.
Remember, just make sure the water's hot, nice sponge. This run, because if you're going to cut a fruit salad, after you've cut onion, no one really wants to taste an onion fruit salad.
No. Yeah.
Yuck. That's right. Okay, make sure. Nice and clean. Both sides. Okay. Always remember, keep everything nice and clean. Always wash everything in the kitchen. Okay.
Go.
Okay, nice clean tea towel, dry the board off. Everyone should have a tea towel next to them, close by. At least one. It's one of those vital things in a kitchen, tea towels. You can never have enough of tea towels. Okay, nice and dry. Okay, let's get some parsley. Ready?
Yeah.
It's a nice big bunch of parsley here. What we do with the parsley, remember, we can always use the stock. For the stock, all the stalks for the stock, makes the stock taste beautiful. Okay, so keep all the stalk ends. This is what you do with parsley. I mean, it's the boring part of chefing, but everyone has to do it. And if you become an apprentice, this is the first thing, and you'll do this every day for about 6 months, is picking all the leaves off the parsley. Okay? And remember, we have that stock bucket, so all the stalks can go in that stock bucket. So just pick it. Because in French cooking, Italian cooking, parsley is one of the main herbs
Lebanese.
Garnish,
Big.
Lebanese. That's right. That's right.
Lebanese cooking.
And what main ingredient is parsley in a Lebanese dish?
Well, it could be tabbouleh.
That's right, tabbouleh. Beautiful.
Yep.
Okay, now that we've picked our parsley, we've got a nice little bunch here, all the leaves, and all the stalks we've put in a bucket so we can put into our magic stock. Okay, now the main thing with parsley is make sure the board is dry, because parsley will stick to everything when it's wet, so make sure you're nice dry, the board's dry and the parsley's dry. So what you do, if this is too much of a clump for you, depending on how big your hands are, let's just start off by taking just a little clump. We'll leave this off on the side, and we want to roll it all up. Roll it all up into a little ball, and once it's in that little ball, we hold it down with the thumb behind the fingers, with this part of the fingers over holding everything down, and in that motion again, I'll turn around so you can see that rolling motion, that oval motion, once again. Now, this in French terms, this cut, when you get little ribbons like this, that's called a chiffonade.
What's it called?
A chiffonade.
I'll have fun with that.
Okay. Sounds good, looks good. Okay, now that's quite rustic, but a lot of people like their garnishes, parsley, a lot finer. This is alright in Yemar's tabbouleh, it's alright. But if people want garnish, which is when you sprinkle a bit over fish just to make something look fresh and nice, we roll it up again, we grab it again, and once again we do that rolling motion and chiffonade it the other way. And remember, go as fast as you are confident, but remember, it's not a race. So just tuck it in and just always just keep grabbing, and if you want it finer, just keep grabbing it and rolling it again and run the knife through it. Now once it gets to this stage where it's quite small bits, this is when you use the back of the spine and use that heel chop method. Just go that way. And the actual side of the knife is good for sweeping things up and getting things back in place. So depending how fine you want it, you could do this maybe 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, just depending on how fine you want it. There we have it. The only problem with parsley is they stain the chopping board, so you have to really scrub them down afterwards. So there you go. There's parsley garnish, ready to sprinkle over food and everything just to finish a dish off.